Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexandra. I think this is my first video of 2025 and I just thought we could chat a little bit about my 2025 reading goals and what I'm reading right now, what I'm going to read next, and so on. So right now I'm still reading Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, and this is a continuation of her Darker Shades of Magic trilogy. She says herself that this is this is gonna be a separate trilogy, and this is the first book of that trilogy, but I don't think so. I don't think you can really go into Threads of Power without having read A Darker Shades of Magic. I don't see how that's possible, to be honest, because I was struggling. I read A Darker Shades of Magic. It's been a while, so I was actually struggling sometimes to understand what was going on. And all of the world, there is no world building in this. The world is not being explained to you in the way that it is in A Darker Shades of Magic. And also all of the people's relationships, if you really go into Threads of Power blind, you know nothing about these people and have no attachment to them. And I don't really see how you're supposed to care about them. But I'm getting ahead of myself because I think I took a break from this book for about a month because nothing is happening. It's over 600 pages. I'm on page 530 and nothing is happening. Nothing is going on. There are a lot of flashbacks. So every single character, and there are let's say 4 or 5 main characters that get flashbacks all of the time. And it's just that there's no real story happening or very little story happening, but a lot of flashbacks. Just to summarize for you, Threads of Power is set 7 years after A Darker Shade of Magic. In this book, there are 4 different worlds and 4 Londons. So they're called Grey London, Red London, White London, and Black London. The only people that can walk between the worlds are called Antares. The Grey London, I think, is supposed to be our London. So there is no magic in Grey London, and Red London has a lot of magic, is full of magic, and this is where most of the plot happens. And at the end of A Darker Shade of Magic, Red London got a new king, one of the main characters, Rye? I don't know how it's called, because since A Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm not sure anymore how all of these people are called. It's spelled R-H-Y. It's not short for Resend, okay? I don't know. He's the new king, but the problem with him is that he has no magic. So since those 7 years since he has been king, magic has gradually disappeared. And people are not happy with that. And there is this group of people, they call themselves the Hand, and they want to basically assassinate the king. They want to use this object that is kind of a door. They can make a door with this and go wherever they want. Also between the worlds, but also in the world itself, they can travel to wherever they want. And they want to use this to kill him. I like the characters in the world and V.E. Schwab's writing, but nothing has happened. Page 530, we know nothing about who is the Hand. We know what they want to do, but what's their plan? Who's behind it? Nothing's going on. I also feel the characters, there's no urgency for them to really find out what's going on. They're just, I feel they don't care that the king, they're all friends of the king, and do they even want to save him? Or is it just because there's so many flashbacks that I feel no story is there yet? It feels very much like a first book. She wants to write another trilogy in this world, which I appreciate because I love this world as well. But this book is just, it's so long and nothing is going on. But I will finish it today. That is my big plan for today. I definitely want to finish this today, and then we'll see. Maybe the ending is really good. I'll probably still read the next one because, yeah, I still love her writing and I still love that world and the characters, and I want to know what happens to them. And then after this, I want to start Tender is the Flesh. From what I've gathered, this is dystopian. I don't know if the animals are extinct, but like humans have started to eat other humans, and we follow this guy that works in a slaughterhouse and then I think falls in love with one of the humans that is supposed to be slaughtered there. I think the concept is very interesting. I've read mixed reviews about it. I still want to see for myself how I like it and if I like it. Anyways, for 2025, I really want to make a dent in my physical TBR. I have too many unread books and I really just want to get on with it a little bit. So I have a lot of books like this on my TBR for this year, books that are relatively short and easy to read. I thought about doing like a longer video and talk about my TBR for this year, but I don't feel like I want to be too strict with it, but more read books that I'm in the mood for, so I can really make some progress on my TBR. Because for next year, yes, I'm already thinking about next year as well. For next year, I really want to get back to reading classics. I miss reading classics. I miss reading really big, long fantasy books, but this is going to be for next year. This year, I really want to make progress on my physical TBR. I also want to read some more nonfiction books. I kind of made the goal for myself to read a nonfiction book for 20 to 30 minutes a day. At the moment, I'm reading A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, which I've already started 3 years ago, but yeah, I've restarted it. I did not know anymore where I was or what was even going on. And I want to read something about like Greek mythology, and I have a very interesting book about Pompeii. So I kind of just want to read some more nonfiction about topics that I'm interested in. And I'm also going to be unhauling some books. I'm not done yet on unhauling. I have already unhauled a bunch, but I'm not done yet. So my rule for unhauling books is, would I read this book again? Would I spend hours, days, weeks on that book again? And if my answer is no, definitely not, then I'm letting go of the book because then it's just gonna collect dust. You know, I probably will not reread every single book that I have, but just like the thought, would I do it again? Would I want to? Then I'm gonna keep it, but if not, I don't want it just collecting dust if somebody else really enjoys it maybe and wants it. I mostly give it to my mom or my boyfriend's mom or my friends. Somebody always wants a book. That's it for now. I'm gonna report back later when I have finished Threads of Power, hopefully tonight, and see you then. Okay, so change of plans. I just realized that the book is actually over 700 pages long and not 600. So I thought I had like 100 pages left, easy done, but no. I had over 200 pages, so obviously I didn't finish it yesterday, but I hope to finish it today, tomorrow at the latest. See you then. So, good morning. I finished Threads of Power last night. I have to say, like, the last 200 pages or something, it really picked up. It was really, I couldn't put it down for the last like 200 pages, but it was still, I think, like the 400 or 500 pages before that, it was still a little bit too dragged out for me. I really love V.E. Schwab's world building. I love the characters, also the new ones, like Tess, but also the new Queen of White London. I found her storyline also very interesting, and I'm also very interested to see how she's gonna continue this. So I will obviously gonna read the next one. I want to just see where the characters are going, and the way she set it up is still very exciting and intriguing, although it took a long time to get there. But the writing was, again, very good. As always, V. Schwab's writing is incredible. I think that's all I have to say about the book right now. I'm thinking I should have wrote something down. The only thing, when I read A Darker Shade of Magic, like, what is Lila this, like, unlikable? I remember I loved Lila, or Delilah's character in A Darker Shade of Magic, but in this one, I really didn't like her. Like, there were just some things that I like her and Cal together, and she's a really badass character, but the way she handles some situations, you feel like she doesn't even have any feelings or whatever. Like, Cal is at a point at the beginning of the book, because his magic is so damaged, at the beginning of the book, he's so, suicidal. And what does she do? She throws him a knife and walks away, and is like, if you want to do it, do it. Like, okay. Those kind of instances where it makes me pause, and I'm just like, was she like that in the first 3 books as well? I don't remember her being like that heartless almost. Spoiler, if you want to read this book, at the end, Cal's magic gets repaired. Like Tess, who can repair magic, like Tess can see the magic around people and around magical objects, etc. They ask her to repair Cal's magic because she can see that it's like damaged, and they're like, oh, can you repair it? Then at the end she does it, but like, I would have loved to see it, like, or to read about it, like how she repairs his magic, because it's just like, okay, she's gonna start now and then she's done, and I would have loved to just see how she does it, or read how she does it. That's the only kind of thing that bothered me about the end. Otherwise, the ending is very, very good. So I'm gonna start, I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna start Tender is the Flesh today, and then report back when I'm in the book. Started the book, halfway through, I don't know, whenever I feel like it. I come with an update for you regarding this book. I'm like halfway through, and this book is crazy. Like, this book is messed up. I find myself having to take like breaks from the words written on these pages. My thoughts on it so far. I realized I spread some misinformation before. So animals actually did not go extinct, but there was like some kind of virus that made all animals kind of dangerous to humans. So humans couldn't consume any animal products whatsoever. And also, like, humans got scared of animals, like, you know how humans are when they get scared of something, and they started to just kill them. So there are almost no animals left, no pets, nothing, except for like some birds, but that's about it. And after a while, people just started to kill other people and eat them. And as far as I understood, the meat industry kind of saw a chance to revive itself, and because it's so powerful, it made governments legalize cannibalism. And that's how all of that started, and they call it the transition. And we follow a guy called Marcus. Marcus works in a slaughterhouse. I don't know exactly what he's doing, like he's not actively doing the slaughtering. But for example, he goes to one of the breeding centers, and that was one of the craziest parts. Goes to this breeding center where they're breeding humans to eat, and then like the slaughterhouse buys from that breeding center, is what I gather. So they don't call the humans that they're breeding and eating, they don't call it humans or people, whatever. That's actually illegal. They call them heads. And so they're breeding heads in there. And the guy from the breeding center, the boss, he doesn't show Marcus around, he shows this other guy around, whatever. So basically he's showing us, the reader, he's showing us around. And it's kind of crazy. Like they even have the way they talk about the humans is the way we talk about animals nowadays. Like they even have a stud, which is like just a guy that mounds the women, but he's like sterilized so he can't impregnate them, and they're like pregnant females that have no arms or legs so they can't hurt themselves. And like that whole thing in the breeding center was insane. There's this one part, wait, here it is. The smell of barbecue is in the air. They go to the rest area where the farm hands are roasting a rack of meat on a cross. So the farm hands are like the guys, the people working there in the breeding center. El Gringo, that's the guy from the breeding center, explains to Egmont that they've been preparing it since 8 in the morning, so it melts in your mouth. And that the guys are actually about to eat a kid. It's the most tender kind of meat. There's only just a little because a kid doesn't weigh as much as a calf. We're celebrating because one of the farmhands became a father. So they're eating a kid. That is like, this whole thing is just... I sometimes need to take breaks. Like there are even like butcher shops where you can buy the meat. So Marcus' father has dementia and he's in this nursing home, and Marcus says like it's a very expensive nursing home because they make sure that when the people pass away, they do not get eaten, because it's very common nowadays that when you die, your family sells you on the black market, like your meat, because to make money off of you. So as I said, he was at that breeding center, right? And El Gringo, the boss, in that breeding center, they're breeding something called first generation pure. And it's like this super special, extra good meat. El Gringo sends one of those first generation pure, like a woman, he sends that to Marcus as like a gift. And now Marcus has her in his barn. You can also have like the heads at home as like farm animals basically, and then slaughter them yourself. But slavery is still forbidden. So at one point Marcus talks about how one time there was a family that had like heads at home and they were using them to do different chores. And so they were all punished because it's forbidden to have slaves, but you can obviously slaughter them. Like, that's okay. But do not make them do chores. Like, that's not okay. That's slavery, okay? I want to finish this, like, today or tomorrow. I want to still have it as a January book. So, today or tomorrow. And then I'll report back on what I thought of it. So far, I really enjoy it, though. Although it's kind of messed up and some things are quite shocking, I still like it. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's very descriptive, so, you know, it's a little bit, and the writing is a little bit blunt, I want to say. It's like it's not flowery or anything. It's just, he gets home, he opens the door to the barn, he sees the woman curled up sleeping. He changes the water and replaces her food. She wakes with a start at the sound of the balanced feet hitting the metal bowl. She doesn't move closer and looks at him in fear. Like, it's just like, okay, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. So very, like, blunt. That's just what I mean, if that makes sense. Okay, see you later. So I just finished Tender as a Flash last night. So I thought I'd just give some concluding thoughts on it. I'm trying to keep this short because I feel like I've been talking so much in this vlog. So I actually really enjoyed this book. I think I'd give it like 4 stars. It was like very disturbing. It was very gory. So if you're very sensitive to like things like very descriptive, also animal abuse, but also sexual abuse, I would not recommend this book. But if you want to read something that is disturbing and that makes you think, I would say, yeah, go for it. It's very different. It's very different to everything that I've read. It's just interesting to see how she describes what humans would do to each other if they were allowed to, and also what lengths people go to make themselves feel better about what they do. I just thought that was very interesting, and also it's kind of believable a lot of the times. Like, I feel like if something like this were to happen, I kind of see us humans do this. Like, I see us treating each other this way. So the whole time I was thinking about how she was gonna end this book. As I said, we followed this guy named Marcus who works in a slaughterhouse throughout this book. He also deals with the death of his newborn son. His wife also left him, so he's very lonely. He's very alone in this cruel world. So I kind of had some hope about him, but the book then takes a turn, and I feel like that changes something in him. And as I said, I was just interested to see how this book ends and how she ends it. And the ending is very shocking. Like, everything you have read about, all of the gory details, and it still manages to shock you in the end. It was very good. So really a book that I kept thinking about. That's it for this vlog. I think I'm gonna end this here. I read 2 books. If you've watched until now, thank you very much. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.